about like the 5 things people get screwed up about transgender people, and it's like mixing up pronouns is not.
It's not like that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's not. The radicals freak out. But
so we'll go ahead and go live and we'll just start talking. Just be yourself.
Yeah,
Fuck all these motherfuckers. I only do this so it'll bring attention to my website, basically.
Did Joe Rogan inspire this?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
we're live. What's up? We're live. Silas Hacksaw.
What's going on?
In the building. We about to investigate, figure out the way your brain works, basically, and you can ask me questions about how my fucking brain works.
I love Ben's comments earlier. That was
my god, what an idiot, dude.
Scott and I were having coffee and we were talking about Ben.
Scott who?
Huffam.
Oh, he ain't in town, right?
He moved back.
He moved back?
Scott's back in Wilmington.
What up, Scott?
Yeah,
I love Scott, dude.
He got his master's in literature and he just moved back a couple months ago.
That water's yours if you get a
heck yeah.
Cottonmouth palate up in here.
I got my fancy dip in, that's Snus.
What do you dip?
It's like this, it's like Snus Frost. It's like
pouches?
Fancy dip pouches. Yeah, it's very minty. I had an e-cig, but it broke. I'm trying to quit, but you know how that is. It's hard to open.
I ain't got fingernails. I can't get that shit. Oh, it's just like a pouch.
Yeah, it's fancy.
You look like a 10 half full kind of person.
Oh, dude, yeah, there's beautiful messages in there.
It smells like chewing gum almost.
It's like mint.
But it's tobacco.
Yeah, I mean, anybody can, it literally tastes like mint. It's
little kids, get little kids eating that.
Dude, you know I was dipping as a kid. Come on.
How old were you when you started dipping?
Early middle school, because I played softball. I was at Redman Golden Blend was my jam.
I like Taylor's Pride Chew. Have you ever chewed that?
No.
It's real sweet.
But Redman, when you're a kid, tastes like licorice.
Yeah, it does.
So it's like, you don't even know you're doing anything bad. You're like, this tastes good.
I remember the first time I actually dipped like chaw dip, like the dip that'll make you sick if you swallow it. The first time I dipped, dude, I was in it might have been the second or third time, but it was the first time that I really got in there. You know what I'm saying? And I got a big old chaw, and I put it in. And I remember I was in the drive-through line at school waiting to get picked up by my mom, right? So I'm waiting, and and it's hot outside, dude, and I guess I swallowed some of it, and I started sweating bullets.
Dude, you turn green.
I turned white. I turned super white.
See, I turned green, and I, lost, chunks.
Oh, like blue chunks?
Yeah, I was dipping one time. I think I was playing softball. I was always a catcher, obviously, because that's where they put the fat people who can't run. So they're like, we'll put you back here. And, dude, I got hit in the helmet and swallowed it.
Like in your catcher's helmet?
Yeah, like the pitcher, I was dizzy because I didn't do it that much.
Yeah, and so you're like...
And it popped off the top of the glove and hit me in the face, and I fell. And, of course, I pulled my helmet off, started vomiting. So the umpire thinks I have, a concussion or something. And I'm just puking because I swallowed dip.
That's so much better than my story. I just got in the car with my mom. My mom's like, what's wrong with you? And I had just threw the chaw out, because I didn't want my mom to know. And I got so sweaty, and I remember leaning up against the car, the window, and I was just trying not to puke, because I knew if I puked, she would know something was wrong.
That's when I'd done, long cut wintergreen, though.
That's what I
chewed before that, and, long cut tobacco chew it doesn't make you sick like that, because like we were saying, it's like licorice.
Yeah.
It's like chewing on candy.
You swallow a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's like when you do grizzly wintergreen. Ooh. Oh my god, that's what I swallowed. That's what made me lose it.
That's the roughest of the
stuff. So bad.
See, I do like Copenhagen though, like the dip Copenhagen, they make a southern blend.
Have you had the whiskey blend?
I think I've had the bourbon.
Yeah.
A bourbon.
The southern blend's good, but
is it black?
Yeah, it's hard to find.
Yeah, I've had that. I kind of like that.
Copenhagen's nasty though. My dad did the Copenhagen snuff, which was real fine. Yeah, it's not long cut tobacco is so much that snuff gets on your teeth. My nanny snuff, my
great grandma.
Yeah, my nanny that.
She had a spittoon.
And they have the spoon in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, dude,
mine had
so
a nasty spittoon, and she would spit. You know what my great grandma made me do to make money? She had a huge cotton field, dude, and she would be like, now go fill. I think it was a 5-gallon bucket. She's like, now go fill the bucket up full of cotton. And I would never want to wear shoes, and she's like, you need to put shoes on. Her name was Lily Bell. Lily Bell said,
Dude, I
you need to
can't
put
deal with
shoes on, right? And so I'd never put shoes on, I'd get sand spurs in my feet and whatnot. But she'd call me inside and she'd be like, alright, now pick all the seeds out of the cotton. I'm going to give you a penny for every seed you pick out. So I'd pick all the seeds out, right? And because she knitted quilts.
Yeah.
She'd use it to knit quilts. And I picked all the seeds out and she'd be like, alright, now count them. And then I had to count every seed, and it ended up being like 250 or something. I get
like
$2.50, dude. But it was
dude,
everything
so
to me.
Good.
I'll never forget that, and that's like the only memory I have of her, really, that I
see. My great grandma like lived with my grandma, and she had like dementia real bad, and she was so crazy. Like she used to sit on the front porch. We'd walk up the kids, and she would meow at us,
like
and expect us to
or?
like bark back, like act like we were cats. And then we'd be sitting on the porch and she'd be like, you see those girls going in the woods? I was never one of them girls. Like, just would see, like.
What's she talking about? She didn't know.
When she was a kid, like, I guess when she was a teenager, these girls would go off in the woods with boys.
Yeah.
And she would
be
never
like
do
sluts.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so she's like 9 years old on the porch, seeing these girls walk in the woods, talking about how she was never. I'm like 7 years old, like,
yeah.
What's this old lady talking about?
And old lady's like, they're about to go.
And she was like 4'10", like her name was I can't remember her name. Her first name was Betty, or she was Betty Wallace. I can't remember what
they called her.
Right, yeah. Her sister-in-law was Hallie Hardy, and her dad started Hardee's. And then
really?
ended up selling it after like a couple restaurants, and then it became big and popping. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and Aunt Hallie, dude, she was crazy. She had like the most high-pitched voice, and it was just
okay.
old Southern
Speaking of your dad, was that your dad in the picture with the Dale Earnhardt?
Yeah.
Dude, I need that hat.
That was my like first picture besides like the hospital picture. That's him and his mom, who's like, well, she's dead now, but she was both his parents were Native American out of Texas. That's
both
why he's so dark
parents.
and like But it's like I've got like his darker hair, and like when I tan, it's like a red tan, like Indian. But then my mom's, you've seen my mom, she's full blown ginger. So I got like the freckles and freaking red hair. So I'm like the perfect mix of them. But yeah, man,
I would never think you were like had any Native American.
Dude, Sundays in my house when I was a kid, like nobody really came over, and you didn't really go anywhere because of NASCAR and football. And then when Dale Earnhardt died, it just ended.
Like, that was a fucking tragic.
Yeah, but I mean now NASCAR's like all safe, and like you can't like purposely run into people. It's like it's not the same anymore. It's not as fun.
They got all kinds of rules now, and you can't even win the race in the same way. It's like I don't understand it though. It's like a 3-stage race.
What just always killed me as a kid was like sitting there wondering how they went that long without like peeing.
They got little.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's nasty, but it's like
they piss in tubes.
Yeah,
right?
I used to be like, what?
What about pooping though?
Right. Especially when you're going that fast.
You're gonna want to shit.
Right. Like if someone runs into you, like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you're gonna shit.
You know they've shit themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
In those.
In your onesie. It like makes me feel bad for girls that wear rompers, because I'm like, that's how the NASCAR people feel. They have to go and they go out all fancy to the clubs in rompers, and then they have to go in these nasty bathrooms and take the whole thing off, get it all over the floor, like.
Oh man, I didn't even think
it's
about
like
that.
Nasty. It's like
in order to get your vagina out,
if you gotta take a piss, you gotta take off your onesie. That's what they are.
You have to take it down from the top.
Right.
There's no way to get it up from the.
Rompers are glorified onesies.
There's no poop flap.
Nothing. It's not like those pajamas we used to wear with a flap on the back.
Yeah, where you could dump.
You could just like unbutton them and go. No.
Dude, that's a conundrum. That is a conundrum.
That just shows what females do to look fly.
Yeah. Is that like was that?
And you know they pee themselves when they're drunk and they can't get it off fast enough.
Dude,
they gotta pee.
I was at a concert one time, in the middle of the floor, like where the audience. He'll fall asleep in a minute, I think. Where the audience was standing, I was at what was it? It was New Year's Eve. I was at a Keller Williams. I don't know if you ever.
I've seen him multiple. You know I listen to that.
Yeah.
backwoods.
So I was at a Keller Williams concert New Year's Eve at Brooklyn Arts Center.
I was there.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
So
Yeah.
I'm standing
The
here.
one-man band.
Yeah, the one-man band.
Yeah, he's the bomb.
He played with a funk. He played a funk part.
Yeah.
He played what does he play? Funk and then blues and then by himself.
Yep.
It was amazing, dude.
I've got a picture with him from a festival.
Really?
We like caught him. It was like Lock-In Fest, and they did like a Sunday morning bluegrass, like gospel.
Yeah.
So he took all the Grateful Dead stuff that was like gospel Jerry Garcia did and played it. And he had these like crazy backup singers, these big afros, and he like walked by, and we were standing by a fence and saw him, and he came over to the fence. And it was Stephanie, Brooks' wife, Stephanie Williams, and me, and her best friend Crystal, and Nicole that I was with at the time, and like we all got a picture with him.
Damn, that's cool,
just
dude.
he just walked straight up to the fence, because we went to that festival a couple of years in a row.
What, did you see him and then call him over there? Or
yeah, he just like walked around, and he always wears, at least when he did the gospel, he wore like old school preacher. He'd have like a suit and tie on, and he had taken his jacket off and just had his tie on. Didn't even look like. But yeah, it was crazy. It was.
The show I went to was crazy, and this girl standing right beside me just pulls her pants down, or actually no, she was in a dress. Pulls her dress up and just pisses, and her piss just comes straight to my feet, dude. And I'm like, bro, move over. I'm talking
in
to my
the middle
buddy.
of a church, like the Brooklyn Arts
It is
Center
a church,
used to be
isn't
church.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, she pisses right on the floor, dude, during the concert. And I'm like, move over, Matt. I was with my buddy Matt. And I'm like, dude, piss. I'm like, look. Dude, I got pissed on, dude. There was piss on my feet.
And the Keller Williams show of all shows.
That was
People
crazy.
are
Paul
probably
Gaither was there. I remember
Yes.
seeing Paul Gaither there. I'm
He
gonna
has
have
a
him on the
beautiful
podcast.
beard.
Dude.
His beard is like absolutely astonishing.
I saw a picture. I was looking at your Instagram or Facebook, and I saw a picture of you with some sort of beard on.
My girlfriend trimmed it yesterday because my boss at Home Depot told me I looked like ratchet or like rough, and then Anna said it was ratchet, and I'm like, but she won't say anything. She's like, you've worked 24 years to have like a neck beard. I'm like, yeah, I'm not ashamed of it, but it did look ratchet.
Is it because you're taking testosterone?
Oh yeah.
So, okay, this is interesting to me. So, I'm trying to figure out where to start.
Well, so like, okay, so my dad is 23 years retired infantry veteran. He's 48 years old, 100% disabled, wheelchair. Like he has like a form of Lou Gehrig's or something. I don't know what he has, but he got exposed to stuff in the Gulf War, and I was born in '94. So whenever he reproduced, I just turned 24 like a month ago. So when he reproduced with my mom, I came out without a thyroid.
Without a thyroid?
I don't have a thyroid at all. Never had one.
Shit.
Me and like 6 other kids. Well, your thyroid's your hormone base. So when I went and first was going to get on testosterone, I had the highest amount of testosterone you could have in a female body.
Really?
So their theory is that I was supposed to be born male, and because I didn't have a thyroid to function, I lived off my mother's hormones, so I came out female.
Holy
because
shit,
when you're in the womb, so a lot of people think it's like you want to be a man or you want to be a woman, but it's not. It's the feeling of you are. So it's like possibly because I lived off my mother's hormones, I came out as a female. Because you remember me, I've had a deeper voice than most. I've always been built bigger. Like, I've just always stuck out like not a regular female. You know what I mean? So it's like the possibilities are endless when it comes to stuff like that. Because I mean, it's like hermaphrodites are intersex people. They're born with a penis and ovaries, or they can have like a vagina and balls. Right.
Really?
Yes. So like you encounter intersex or hermaphrodite people all the time and don't know it. So it's like something sometimes gets messed up in the womb and like you come out weird because like a female's parts and a male's parts are essentially when you're in the womb the same. So it's like the head of a male part is the same as like the clitoral part of a female. They're the same thing.
Just
and
as
it's
far as like how like sensitive or stimulative.
Well, when you're in the womb, you either keep that or a male grows. It's literally the same part when you're like when you're in the first 6 weeks in the womb.
Oh man.
So like it's the same organ, and then your body either decides to produce testosterone and it grows into a penis, or it stays back and grows into. They're literally so like like so if you're a male, it like shrivels and shrinks, like it would go back into like clitoral form.
Yeah.
If you're a female who takes it, you essentially grow one.
It grows out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they're.
I did know that.
They're literally
bodybuilders.
they're like,
females.
dude, their stuff gets weird because they take such a high amount.
Yeah.
Which I mean, taking any testosterone as a female like changes it, but that's why
it's what, endogenous? Is that what they call it?
Androgynous.
Androgynous.
Yeah. So it's like being both, but. So because I was born with that thyroid issue, when I went to my initial doctor's appointment, they were like, first of all, any person I go to that's a doctor and I tell them I don't have a thyroid, they're like, what? And then they do an ultrasound and they're like, you don't have one. I'm like, yeah.
So a thyroid is like your hormone regulator.
That regulates everything hormonal based. So like.
It has something to do with metabolism too, though.
Yes, that's why I've always been bigger.
Yeah.
Because I don't have one.
Because
I've never had a real metabolism.
Issues, you have problems.
Yeah, I've always been chubby because I don't have a metabolism to regulate. Yeah. When I played sports, when I did everything like that, I was still chubby because there's nothing. I've been on, since I was 2 weeks old, I've taken Synthroid, which is a synthetic thyroid. It makes my body think I have one. When in reality, the whole process in the womb was all jacked up. Yeah. Because I literally killed my mother's thyroid living off hers. Like after I was born, she had to start taking Synthroid because eventually, because it was all jacked up. I sucked the life out of hers. She says I keep sucking the life out of her, but they even had to eventually do a C-section because I wouldn't come out because I was living off of her thyroid.
Yeah, you did.
It's like my anatomy knew, like, if you come out of here, it's not going to work. Wow. So it's like, I mean, there's sciences behind all of it, and a lot of people, they think, first of all, like, ignorance breeds hate and fear, which is understandable. I grew up in southeastern North Carolina, okay? I grew up around racism, sexism, hatred, and like if I didn't come out like I am, I'd probably be just like that.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
I mean, but in reality, and we live in the Bible Belt, you know, so like that adds to it as well, but in reality, all kinds of weird things can go wrong. We see it all the time. We see people with deformities, and that's all this is like, something happens in the womb that's not correct, and like transgendered people come out, and like how quick and easy is it for something to get messed up? You know what I mean? Like,
when you're having a baby, it's like a million different things. I gotta go put this pacifier in his mouth or something.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll be right back. Sorry, it's bothering me, dude. And I definitely will drop some questions on it. Sorry, sir. I'm gonna see if he'll sit here and watch TV. Can you hear me just call you Sarah?
Yeah. That's what I was for 22 years.
See, if I didn't know you when you were Sarah, like I would always call you Silas.
Well, and you wouldn't believe, like, you know me as that, but everyday society, people have no idea.
Yeah, like somebody who just meets you as Silas.
They have no clue. That's the thing about, like, is like you're around people like me all the time and you have no idea.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
You're around
people that already have transitioned.
Right, you have no clue.
Like Chris.
Dude, Chris is a prime example.
I think of Chris as a man
because
I never knew him as a woman.
They diagnosed Chris as having, like, I can't remember if it was I can't remember what they said he had. But Chris could grow a beard before he ever transitioned.
He's got as full of beard as me.
Right, but I'm saying, like, before he transitioned, when he was still a female, he could have done that. We're talking about Chris D. He might be, I don't know.
I asked him to be on the podcast, but
he's
he moved to Virginia or
Ohio,
Ohio.
I think he's back home, yeah. But it's like, it's not that crazy. Like, it's not that crazy of a concept when you think about, you know, hermaphrodites, intersex, like people that are born certain ways. It just happens, you know, and like, it's like, I prepared all this stuff because I'm trying
You're
to
the
be.
first person to have.
Yeah,
Because
I want to be accurate because the thing is this is such a big issue right now. I want to be factual, not biased or unbiased. I've never been like that. Like I want to
be that way too.
Know the facts. Is like, and you remember me as a female. I'm probably one of the manliest females you ever met.
For sure.
Like,
for sure.
People called me Boss Hoss. People referred to me as their brother. Like, even as a female.
Yeah.
And like, so I like. The definition of transgender is relating to a person whose sense of personal identity and gender does not correspond with their birth sex. So sexuality and gender are different. Gender is between your ears, sex is between your legs.
Right. Okay.
Sexual organs are what they are.
People will argue biologically, like gender is biological, is what people are now arguing. You know what I mean? Just from things that I listen to, like Rogan. Like I've heard a lot. Like I listened to Rogan's podcast with Buck.
Oh my God.
Who was it?
Buck Owens? Or no, Buck. He's the porn star that's a trans man.
Is he a porn star? I
yeah.
thought he was a director or something. Maybe.
If you're talking about Buck,
I am talking about the.
He's like bald, muscular, mustache.
Oh yeah, the full beard now on the podcast.
He's a porn star. That's how he got discovered because people are so like. They're doing this dude with a vagina.
Yeah.
There's a documentary about him that's very interesting, but he's one of those like radical, which radicals ruin everything.
Yeah.
Like you got radical white people, radical black people.
Radical
you got KKK, you got Hitler, you got radical Muslims, and they ruin everything for their group.
Yeah.
And cause like deeper marginalization.
Well, stereotypes too. Yeah. They cause a lot of stereotypes.
It's like what is his name? It's Buck something.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But yeah, it's just like the argument is like, do you ever listen to Ben Shapiro?
Sometimes. I listen to Joe Rogan all the time.
Yeah, well listen to the one with Ben Shapiro on it, because it'll make you think.
Is that the like really skinny white dude?
Yeah,
that's
a Jew.
Yeah, I've watched some of it. Yeah.
His biggest argument, which I don't agree with some of the stuff he says, which I do agree with some of it, but like basically that gender is a biological thing. So his issue with it is that it's like you trying to change the definition of what this is. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, gender can still be biological, but gender and sex are so different that your biological gender can be different from your biological sex. He's not wrong.
Right.
But just because gender's between your ears, sex is between your legs. So why couldn't they be different?
I see what you're saying. You're basically saying gender is not between your legs.
No, that's sex. Those are your sexual organs.
Okay.
Your gender is your thought process, the way you think, the way you act, the things you're attracted to. They're not the same thing. Saying that sexuality and gender are the same thing are crazy. It's just like
I've never thought about it.
There's a fight right now with the LGBT community because LG and B are sexualities, T is a gender issue. But we get grouped into the same thing because people group gender and sexuality together. So it's like, I'm cool with the LGBT thing though because it's a group of people who are all jacked up.
Yeah.
And like, in society's eyes. So gender identity is like the internal knowledge of gender. Gender identity and gender is in your brain. So like, people who struggle with gender identity, so like, for insurance basis, okay, so like, I don't care what you think about Donald Trump, politically, whatever, but the fact is that all this healthcare issues, like transgender being a pre-existing condition, transgender being a mental illness, transgender is no longer a mental illness. It's not an illness. I don't suffer from an illness. You know, it's like, I can't remember the, like, world-renowned, like, you know, whoever decides this stuff that are scientists have now taken transgender out of mental illness and put it into a sexual condition.
So that's what it's called, basically.
Yeah, so it's no longer a, like, I've never been touched inappropriately.
Which is weird, though, because you said sex is between your
legs, gender's between your brain.
So it's like, you would think mental illness, brain.
Right.
Sexual condition, legs is what
it's like, we're so jacked up as a country as a whole in the way we think. Because everyone's about, like, separation of church and state, but we know it's not that separate.
It's really not.
It's not.
Yeah.
There's, like, separation of church and state, whatever. It's, like, it's not. Like, we live in the South. It's a Bible Belt. It's a religious-based place. But also, like, there's nowhere in the Bible that it really says being transgender is wrong, and it goes back to like intersex and hermaphrodites. Why are they born like that?
Yeah.
Because stuff happens.
Yeah.
Like back in the times they talk about, there weren't all the hormones we ingest. There weren't all these things that can alter birth problems.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes back to the gender of God. If God is some ultimate being higher than us, gender's a human thing. Why are you going to put a he on God?
Mm.
Why would God be a man if he's not a human? Why would God be a man if he's not an animal?
Yeah.
So, and people forget that I grew up in a Southern Baptist church. I've taken many religion classes. Like, the Bible is a game of telephone. We read the King James Bible because King James took script and made it. So it's like, pottery shards from Egypt 2,000 years ago show that they supported 3 genders. Ugandan priests 1,000 years ago were dressed as females to be priests. India, Native American tribes, Greece and Roman empires all supported more than 2 genders.
Wow. That's
Literally.
amazing.
Every single one of them historically. This isn't new.
Yeah.
It's just we live in a culture where we've been so put into that there's male and female.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about 1950s America. Males were on top, females at the bottom. Why? Females reproduce. You have stories in the Bible of Mary Magdalene and all these women that Jesus respected. But like society wants to live by that, but only on their own terms.
Mary Magdalene was a prostitute too.
And who hung out with her?
Jesus.
So we have radical Christians. Again, we were talking about radicals ruin everything. It's like, I'm totally open to whatever you need to get by in your life, but like religion is man-made, spirituality isn't. Jesus would be hanging out with me as a transgender person before he would hang out with a judgmental Christian in a church.
Maybe so.
There's stories in the Bible of him going in churches and freaking out and getting angry because they're gambling and judging people and doing all these things. So when the Christian community lashes out, it's like, what basis are you lashing out on? When it comes down to it, okay, I'm a transgender person, you're a white dude that was born with a penis, why can't we get along and love each other?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why am I wrong? When, I mean, they have a reason they think why I came out like this, but like, who even cares if there's a reason? We're both human beings. We have flesh, we have blood, we have hearts, we have organs. Every animal, like, people forget humans are animals. We share the same traits as all these other animals and mammals.
Closest to primates.
Right.
Yeah.
There's polygamy, monogamy. They stay with some partners, they leave some partners, they have multiple partners. There's homosexuality. There's all these scientific terms that relate to those animals that relate to us. But because our brains are more crazy and out there, and our automatic survival is to reject some people. And it's like marginalization is like keeping someone in a less than group. Like,
is that what marginalization means?
The definition is keeping someone or some group of people as less than, looking down upon them.
Okay.
And it's like, why? Like, there's a huge thing with the HB2, like, why is it such a big deal that I have to piss?
The bathroom bill.
And use the bathroom.
Yeah.
It's like, so I work at Home Depot, and Home Depot is a home improvement store that's mainly men driven. But I started transitioning working there, and I don't know about you, but like, men's bathrooms are disgusting.
Yeah.
They're disgusting. Why would I want to go in there?
Sometimes women's bathroom is.
Women's are terrible.
It smells like pussy. Just
tampons everywhere.
Like
both bathrooms are nasty.
Menstrual cycle.
But it's like men's bathrooms. Men have no shame.
Yeah.
Like, they will just like shit and like be playing with themselves and be like wiggling, getting pee. Like, I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in any bathroom. It's nasty. But like, when it gets to the point that I don't want to go in the women's bathroom because I don't want to freak out somebody's granny.
Yeah.
I've gone in the women's bathroom scared of granny. I've had men follow me in there not realizing that they're not going in the men's room. I had an old man yell at me because he thought I was about to walk in there on accident. Like,
what'd you say to him?
What's going on? Look, he's trying to get in on this.
Dude, he always does. That's why I put him in there. I was hoping he'd fall asleep.
I didn't say anything. I just kept walking.
Yeah.
And finally, my managers were like, "Hey, maybe you should use the men's room. And I was like, it's not legal for me to use the men's room. And they
Is
were like,
it? I didn't even know that was
it's
actually
illegal.
law.
You can. Not that long ago, a lady that's pretty well known, she's a transgender woman, used a bathroom in Charlotte, got arrested.
Holy shit. Use the men's bathroom.
Use the women's bathroom.
Use the women's bathroom.
So when I say trans woman, I mean has transitioned to a woman. Like, they categorize me as trans men. Yes.
Yeah.
She'd gone to the men's room, she could have gotten her ass beat. But she went to the women's room and got arrested.
That's crazy.
And
dude.
it's like, there's these laws in place, and it's the South, dude. If you go out west, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Half of them are high on
Super
pot,
chill.
but like,
yeah.
they don't care. They
Yeah.
really, and a lot of places up north, they don't care. But it's like, the South, again, like the Bible Belt, it's like, people are uneducated on it. And like, ignorance breeds fear and hate. They don't know about it, so they're scared of it. There's many things I don't know about that I'm automatically cautious towards, and like this is just one of them. But it's like I was talking about earlier, this goes back thousands of years.
Yeah.
This isn't new. This isn't new in Europe. This isn't new in Canada. But it's newer in America, so people are more freaked out by it.
Yeah.
When in reality, I just have to pee.
Right.
That's it. I'm not trying to go in there and like we were talking about sexuality and gender are different. Like, I hated being identified as a lesbian. I hated that.
Really?
And like, I've
That's interesting.
only ever gone after straight women.
Really?
Ever.
Wow.
Because now, you know, I'm a heterosexual male. Like, that's like,
right.
because I've never gone towards the lesbian population. It's just not what I've gone towards. And look, he's trying to play football.
Dude, he's like a linebacker.
That's what's up. You gonna play for the Cowboys?
Are you a Cowboys fan?
Unfortunately.
Oh shit.
My dad's from Dallas. Like I got pictures of me that age in Dallas.
I figured when I saw the Dale Earnhardt hat, he's probably a Cowboys fan. I kind of associate
it goes
the two.
hand in hand.
Yeah.
Man. It's terrible. Like, I hate admitting it to people. Like, it's so mad. But it's all like people's own problems. Now, there are like radicalist, like transgender people that get on my nerves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just trying to live as a man in society. I don't need people to know that I am. I don't like flaunt it all the time. But there are people that do.
Right.
But it's like, I got lucky. Like, we live in a man-run world. So it's more acceptable for me to be a man than a man who becomes a woman. I mean, there were recorded and accounted for 28 transgender murders last year. Like sodomy, shooting, stabbing.
Like hate crimes?
Hate crimes.
Okay.
Only one was a transgender male. The other 27 were transgender women. Because it's
Hold
more...
on. Okay, I'm still trying to get this straight. Transgender woman is a man that became a female.
Yes.
Okay.
Transgender man is a female that becomes
so it's
a
like
man.
men hating men for being
right.
a certain way that...
Right. And a lot of them were women of color because, unfortunately, we still live in a place, especially in the South, where you can say you accept African American culture, but like, I'll admit myself, I grew up in the South, and I grew up in a culture that was more biased towards African Americans.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can have an African American person cut me off on the road and that word pops in my head.
Yeah.
So it's still all over the place that people of color are marginalized more. So you have all these, and there's a football or basketball player, I shared the video on my Facebook last week, who was from North Carolina, and his sister was a transgender female, and she got murdered last year, or the year before that. And he's like now like putting his whole thing towards the LGBT community because that's a big part of it. I mean, you have 28 people get murdered, and 27 of them are men just living as women trying to be themselves.
Yeah.
And they literally get murdered just because of that.
And transgenders, I believe, have the highest suicide rate.
Yes, it's huge because we live in a society where it's not okay to be different.
Well, it's like, it's kind of not okay to be yourself.
Right.
Which sucks.
And I like, you know, I've always had a strong personality. Like, that when I finally decided to come out, like, I was, you know, I used
come out
drugs
as you like women?
as myself.
Okay.
Like, as a man. Not as, you know, I was never able to ignore the fact that I like women, even from a young age. Like, it was never something I could even overcome. But I've just always been a loud person. I'm okay with doing it, and a lot of people aren't because there's so much hate towards it, and it's like we're literally just trying to live as humans, happy as everybody else. That's all I want. I just want a full life, live successfully in whatever way that means for me, and that's it. I'm not trying to alter anyone's universe. I'm not trying to make you be okay with this. I'm not trying to shove this down your throat. I'm just trying to say, hey, this is me. I was born a little weird. If you don't like it, screw you. If you do, that's awesome. We'll hang out. It's not like I'm trying to push this. And I mean, there's like kids nowadays. Like I knew when I was a kid something was off. Like I said.
Like at what point do you think?
I mean, I got aggressive physically with a teacher when she tried to put me in the girls' line in like kindergarten, first grade.
I was about to ask you how old. Really?
Literally, I didn't know anything about it. I mean, I would throw.
You felt like kind of offended that it's like somebody putting me in the girls' line.
And like that's part of the issue of the culture we live in. Why does there have to be a girls' and a boys' line? Why does there have to be a men's and a women's restroom? There's plenty of places, like gas stations, they have 2 restrooms that are the same.
Yeah.
So why can't they be unisex bathrooms? Yeah. It's like the fact of like you're a dad with a son. How many bathrooms have a diaper changing station for men? But
rare.
Everyone
rare,
has it
dude.
for women.
It's rare.
That's jacked up.
It's rare,
like,
and I need them too. Like, cause sometimes I don't have his mom with me, so.
Boom. Yeah. So it's like it just shows how pushed back all of that is. But it's, I mean, and the whole gender thing is weird. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend like I understand the whole gendered sexuality thing. It's like these days it's like LGBTQIA, PWXY, and Z, and I'm like, I don't know. Like one of my best friends identifies as they them.
That's what I was
James.
About
you know who James is. Everyone knows who James is.
I have to know.
Yeah, I'm sure you know who he is. Well, I call him a he because he perceives himself among society as a man because certain places he's a they them. Because like he is gender fluid. Like he's like, I'm a human being. I have a body. Some days I feel more feminine. Some days I feel more masculine. Which there's a lot of animals like that.
I mean, I'm kind of like that. Honestly, like some days I'm like emotional and feel like not aggressive, and then some days I'm like feel like my veins are pumping pure testosterone. Right. You know what I mean? So
I have to pee again.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna put.
Thankfully you have a unisex bathroom.
I'm gonna try to put him down to sleep. We'll be right back, y'all. Like 2 minutes. Unisex bathroom. Check these comments out, see what you guys got going on. Anybody have any kind of question or statement? Religion is division, all control, separating the fact that we are all the same. Spirituality is key. Agreed. Christ within all of us as a many-membered body connected to an all-knowing Godhead, creator of all things in the reality as we know it. Beyond that, we can't possibly know. Well, that's interesting. I feel like I would understand that more if I was on mushrooms, Trevor. I'm just reading these comments.
Are there any angry ones?
Ben Shapiro kills it. My man was talking about kind of like the difference between religion. How did I not know you did not have a thyroid, said Ashley Gates. Let's see.
I'm sure there's some other
Silas, you need to go public with this on YouTube. We're putting it on YouTube.
Who is that?
Samantha Cashin. It used to be Samantha. You know her. You know who I'm talking about?
She used to be Sam G.
Yeah. That's who it is. Sam G.
I'm sure there's some like not so nice ones on there.
I don't think. Nah, there's not. It's just the one about religion and A couple more about they didn't know you didn't have a thyroid. Trevor, what up, Trevor? You heard that about the mushrooms, bro? I need to read it. I need to read your comment again.
Dude, everyone needs new mushrooms anymore.
Dude,
self-discovery.
I had like when I took mushrooms, dude, I had like a spiritual awakening. Swear to God.
You know, there's like scientific, like some scientists think that we developed as humans beyond animals because we ate mushrooms and stuff that were in the forest.
Yeah, it's the stoned ape theory.
Yeah, it's all.
Because our skulls were like way smaller, and they think that we evolved. Our brains got bigger and expanded.
Well, I have a huge skull.
My head is huge.
Yeah.
What size fitted hat do you wear?
It's like off size. It's like I can't fit a 7 in certain size. Like an 8's weird sometimes.
I'm like a 7.5.
It's all jacked up.
Yeah.
We were talking about peeing because I went to the bathroom. And it's like there's like it's just so crazy to me, and especially like in today's world, like they use this as a huge distraction. You never need to listen to the media ever.
While we're doing this here.
Because like I said, my dad, I grew up in a military household, and he taught me from a young age that the media is BS.
Really, that's
and
smart.
It's like they use all this as a distraction of like craziness, and it's like I didn't decide to officially come out as who I am until like the end of 2016, when 2 of my good friends died within like 6 days of each other, like Katie Phillips and then Whitney passed away, and I was like we're born and we die. Why should I sit here and be miserable? I've used drugs, I've drank, I've tried all these concepts, tried to figure out who I am, worked all these different things, and like as soon as I told people, one, I was so fearful of the reaction, and thankfully I was in a community that was accepting of it, but it's like half of them were like, I mean, that makes sense, and then it's like I've felt so much better as a person. It's not even funny because I'm not. It's like I was talking about elementary school. I was reacting to these things and didn't know what it was. And like I grew up in the South and I grew up in the country, so people associate me as a tomboy.
Mm-hmm.
Riding a tractor with my dad, riding go-karts, getting gross, going mudding, shooting guns, hunting, fishing. They're like, oh, she's just a tomboy. When in reality, I've just always felt more like a dude.
Mm-hmm.
Always. And like people would joke around that I was like a guy or like all these things, and like I thought about it for such a long time, and I was like very into the like feminist movement and like women being empowered because I was tired of being oppressed as a female.
Mm-hmm.
Which like all of that's awesome, the whole feminism, whatever. I mean, there's radical feminists that make it all crazy, but like we said, there's radical everything. But it's like being who you are, no matter what, is so freeing. It's not even funny. And it's like so many things I do, my girlfriend all the time is like, God, you're such a dude. Like just and some of the thoughts across my head, and like testosterone changes your whole world. It almost like I feel like I hate to say this, but made me kind of stupider in some areas.
Really?
I don't pay as much attention to stuff. I'm not as open. I don't like listen as well. There's like things that change. My ego's boosted when I take a testosterone shot every week.
Okay. Do you go to the doctor, or do you? They
no,
tell you how to administer?
Yeah, so they prescribe it to you, and then it's like an intermuscular way to do it. You can do it like that, or you can do it. There's pills. There's all kinds of everything.
Yeah.
But it's also, like I was saying earlier, easier to transition to a male than female because you can overdose on estrogen.
Really?
Like the whole process of men becoming women is so much harder, so much less tolerated. Like it's like I just feel bad for them because they get so hated upon.
That's probably why you're saying that every single one of those murders were trans men.
Right, because and it's too it happens at a visa downtown. For example, you get these drunk Marines who are taught to be like gun-ho, manly, whatever.
Most of them are douchebags.
And they wander into the gay bar, and if they meet a trans woman, they don't know they're in a gay bar, they take her home and she has a penis, they flip out and shoot her.
Yeah.
That's like majority of the situation. And it's absolutely terrible, but you don't see on the media that.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to see a ton of other stuff before you see that. And I don't care if you don't agree with it or not, but you need to look at yourself if you're okay with another human being murdered.
Oh yeah.
Matter like
Absolutely.
doesn't matter like because at the end of the day it all goes back to the fact that we're humans. We all have the same hearts, same blood. Like we're animals. Like we're not this great thing we think we are. And like America's the worst about it.
Yeah.
Like my mom went to and she said that the Canadians were very rude to her and I was like, because we're Americans.
Canadians are supposed to be super nice though.
Dude,
that's the
their country's beautiful. It's like free healthcare, free college, like it's like all these things, like open the LGBT community, pot's legal, like pot itself, whether you agree or not, if you read the facts, it's better for you than all this crap Big Pharma feeds America.
For sure.
So it's like, she said there were no billboards, there was no crazy, like, it was just beautiful country. And I'm like, people watch us. We just put children in internment camps.
Yeah.
Because they were Spanish. Of course Canada's going to be like, these people are idiots.
Yeah.
And treat us bad. Imagine what we treat the Spanish like. And it's like, that's a whole other podcast. It's like, my dad grew up in Texas, and America wouldn't exist without Spanish people because they do all the farming, all the road construction. They do everything undercover in America, and we don't even appreciate it.
Texas is like another country.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, they thrive. Like, it's... America's so jacked up culturally when it comes to, like, white man, rich man country. Like, they came over here getting away from what they're doing to us in Europe. So it's like, it's all ridiculous as shit. But it's like, it all goes to the fact that, like, we're just trying to live as normal people in a free country that is not free for us. There are no LGBT laws protecting us from jobs, housing, healthcare.
Like as far as equality.
Yeah, I could get kicked out of my house right now if my renter didn't like the fact that I was in the LGBT community.
What, he would just make something up, basically?
No, he could literally be like, there's a transgender person in my house, I want him out.
What?
There's no protection from housing, employment, there's the marriage thing, health care, like, pretty much all the southern states, if I go to you and you're a doctor and you don't want to mess with me, you can be like, I'm not treating you because you're in the LGBT community. If I want to get an apartment, they can say, we're not giving you a house because you're in the LGBT community. Like, it's that crazy. Like, there's nothing protecting it. Mississippi has a law.
It's a shame that to me, it's a shame that there should even have to be anything in there to protect.
Right.
And I feel like what you're doing by coming on here and talking to me, like, we've created our own form of media.
Yeah.
Nobody's sitting back there telling me what I can and can't say or what you can and can't say. And I think that's the beautiful thing about you coming on here and talking to me, and you can say exactly what you want, and nobody's here to tell you can't. And I think that's awesome. Because the media does lie.
Right.
And what you say on television has to fit their agenda of what the point they're trying to get across.
Right.
Whatever network you're on, whatever.
Right.
So I think, like, as far as, like, podcasts are, like, crucial.
Yeah.
Because you can really me and you can talk for an hour, and you can get actually out your whole point without me interrupting you and being like, what about this? Well, what about that?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's critical, dude. I think what you're doing is critical to get how somebody who's trans really feels and what they really go through out there.
Yeah.
You know, it's important. It's very important.
But I mean, we're a country that's supposed to have free speech and all these free things, and like in reality, it's not. It's like free under someone else. Like you can't say anything in America without worrying about somebody else getting offended, and that's freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like Europe, all these other places, like. You can say whatever the hell you want to do and do whatever the hell you want to do, and like there's not as much violence, there's not as much hate, there's not as much like crime because it's not so survival driven. But we cover it up with, oh, we're a free country, but like this country isn't free for me. I could literally go into a men's bathroom and if a cop was in there and establish that, you know, I don't have a penis, they could arrest me.
Right.
How crazy is that?
That is crazy.
I mean, that's like, doesn't make any sense on any level. And it's like, we have a war going on, we have all these things going on, and this is the focus. And it's like, don't get me wrong, there's some glimmers of hope. Like, I can't remember exactly how many it is. It was like a dozen people last like election period, like last fall. There were like 9 or 10 transgender people elected in office.
That's great. That's great.
But like now they have targets on their back. It's like they can't just represent a city and be like any other normal person. Like they're brave enough to put themselves out there, but now there's like a target on their back.
I think that just the target being on their back is kind of the first step to it not being on their back.
Right.
Honestly, I think the target at first, unfortunately, has to be there, and then you can move forward from that. You know.
And I mean, when you have children who are like harming themselves or like don't want to go to school and all these things happening, like you can't tell me that it's not a real issue if that young they're feeling it. You know, it's like I was afraid to like come out as who I was, but I was also raised in a tomboy environment where it was like I was like whatever. Gender's never been talked about in the South as a thing. Like I was just like being me. What up? You know, what up? Whatever. You know.
Yeah.
And as I got older, is when I was like, you're either this or that. You're either this or that. There's only two. But like we talked about, all these other societies thousands of years ago, there were multiples. It's like, okay, we're like this creature, and like there's possibilities. But like people also, because they're in the Bible, they'll try to throw the Bible down your throat. But it's like I said earlier, like we're reading a scripture that was taken over by King James and written to how he wanted, and it's turned into a game of telephone.
Yeah.
It's like Peter, who was one of the 12 disciples, was described as beautiful and nurturing, and like Jesus asked him to take care of his, you know, his mother and stuff, and like he was a homosexual. He was a gay man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you really think so, or you know so? Basically?
I guarantee you he was. He was a beautiful person who was nurturing and
you
like.
don't think I'm beautiful?
Oh yeah, that beard. What's up? But like.
I got a patch right here though. That's the thing, dude.
That's fine.
I feel like I need to just put some testosterone right on that patch.
Dude,
right there.
you don't. Testosterone's crazy. Like it's so crazy. But it's like, if those people exist now, why wouldn't they have existed in biblical times?
Oh, they absolutely.
Why wouldn't someone like Jesus?
I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, it's like why wouldn't someone like Jesus have a gay man and his 12 right-hand mans to balance it out? But it's like people are like, no, that's not. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you don't know that. We didn't live in that time.
Have you heard the? Now I watch Ancient Aliens on.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you seen the Leonardo da Vinci one? It talks about all his paintings and the Last Supper painting, or is it Last Supper where they're all
together.
So they talk about, they think the person to the left of Jesus is Mary Magdalene. Like when you go close in on it, it's like something to do with the body language and the way he or she or whatever looks. They think it's Mary Magdalene, and just you talking about Peter maybe being a homosexual it makes you think like. There's no way it didn't exist back then. If people have always been being born.
Right.
You know what I mean? And things have always been going wrong with birth, especially way back then. Because they didn't know what to eat, what not to eat, what to do, what not to do. They didn't know what things to take, what not to take. So I'm sure there was like...
And people who like symbolically follow their belief in God, it's like, yes, God makes no mistakes. But like, why do I have to think I'm a mistake because something got messed up? God plants, people think God plants the seed of the soul. But once that's in a human, shit can happen. It's not like while you're in the womb, they start doing editing. God doesn't have an iPad with every baby on it and is like selecting settings.
Right.
It's like, why couldn't something have happened? Like, why? And it's like, that's why it kills me all the way to the core concept of God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. It's like the Holy Spirit is a spirit. God is a higher entity. Okay, he came back as Jesus, but it's disrespectful to put a humanized gender on something.
Well, technically Jesus was God's son.
Right. So, but they say the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are one.
Yeah.
But God, like, something as big as that, I don't care how much religion you put towards, I don't think our minds are capable of grasping that concept.
I think that's what old buddy on the mushrooms was saying.
Yeah.
He's not on mushrooms.
But, yeah.
I think that was his point.
Yeah, it's like, we don't know There's no way, no matter how much science, no matter how much crap any of us study or
You
what
can
we
never
grow up
know
in,
for sure.
you never know what's going on. You
Just
know,
like we don't know what happens when we die.
right? So how can you sit there and be like, God says that's wrong? Did he call you? Did he FaceTime you? Like,
Yeah, to me,
did you talk to him?
That's why the people on the corners of the picket signs really piss me off. I don't care what sign they're holding. I don't care what you're pushing. If you're pushing, you see, I got a Toyota truck now. So I had to sell my Chevy because it was burning oil or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you've got a sign on the side of the road that says, "I love Toyota trucks," I'm still gonna beep and be like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, yo, stop. Don't try to push what you believe. But it's
Right.
it's the people standing outside the abortion clinics with the signs that say abortion is a sin or whatever.
How
Which
do they know
it may be. You may believe it.
But guess what? That's none of our business.
Yeah, it's really not.
What I'm doing to myself is none of your business.
Yeah.
What you're doing is none of your business.
It's not harming anybody, and that is why I'm glad you commented on that thing that I put on Facebook, because it's really pissed me off that somebody even made that sign. Though it may not go beyond the person making the sign. You know what I'm saying? There may not actually be that. It might be a troll. But somebody made the sign.
It's been going on for a little bit.
I just realized
it's ridiculous. I mean, the whole.
It just pissed me off. They put a rainbow on there when it's like, all right, so
they're trying to hide behind that group.
Absolutely,
is what it is.
People being homosexual, heterosexual, trans.
Yeah.
It doesn't harm.
But it's
anybody.
like someone could smack the Bible on that too, because. Or even like, someone from the Islam community, because in all these Middle Eastern countries, African countries, you got 7-year-olds marrying 10-year-olds.
Well, a lot of them.
And it's jacked up, but it's like, it's happening everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, we think it's jacked up, it's weird, but it's like somebody else, that's their own, and it's jacked up, I don't agree with it, but it goes back to it's none of my business.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I got enough stuff going on that it's not, like, what every person does individually, like, why, so, there's, like, this thing going on where these, like, 20 radical lesbians in California, they had, like, the Pride Festival, right, and these, like, 20, they call themselves Dykes on Bikes.
Dykes on Bikes.
Yeah, it's these lesbians on motorcycles, they, like, drive through and stop the middle of the parade and start holding up these signs about, like, trans women aren't allowed to be lesbians. Which...
See, I have to think about everything you say.
It trips you out, because it's like...
Trans women aren't allowed to be lesbians.
Because, again, sexuality and gender are different. So when I was a female, the world considered me a lesbian because I was a female dating a female.
And you now consider yourself
now I'm a heterosexual male. Which, if you look at my patterns of life, has always been how it's been. Like I said, I've never gone after lesbians, never gone after anything.
Huh. Yeah.
Well, they're saying because transgender women who still like women have a penis, that they're not lesbians. But that goes against everything saying gender and sexuality are separate.
Right, absolutely.
So Bruce Jenner, a.k.a. Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, baby.
I feel jacked up about that whole thing. It's a little sketchy. Like, when you become a female and sit on TV and say you don't agree with equal marriage, but if we're going to get technical...
Oh, that's absolutely crazy.
But here, if you're becoming a female and you're still married to Kris Jenner, would that not make you a lesbian?
Yeah.
Like, if we want to get technical,
between the ears.
if you want to be technical, so it's like, that's a person, we call it transgender. There's a lot of people that...
I've never heard that.
Yeah, they feel like masculine or feel some way, so they're like, oh, I'll become a dude, because it's a thing. And that's like another thing. And that's a lot of radical people, Which I have no business saying, like, who is what or what they're not or what they feel. I don't fucking know. I don't really care. It's your shit. Like I said, I'm just trying to be a dude and live my life. Yeah. But it's like the media and everybody's opinions is a lot of uneducation and a lot of ignorance and a lot of all this stuff. That's why I don't get mad at people. And it's like, people get facts wrong, like, about us. Like, not all of us are trying to get attention. Like, I don't talk about this on the reg. Transgender Day of Visibility is like, I might make a post where I'm like, yeah, I'm transgender, I'm cool with it, whatever. Trans Day of Remembrance, I might make a post because it's shitty transgender people get killed. But I'm not every day like, I'm transgender, you better respect me, you better whatever. Like, I want you to respect me because I'm a human and I have good values.
Yeah.
I don't want you to respect me because my genitals and my brain.
Right.
If that's what you want to be respected for, you need to look at that.
Right.
That's not what it's about.
Well, that's what I'm hoping gets through to some
Yeah.
people when they listen.
I might be the only transgender person people are exposed to.
Right.
So, like, I don't get mad, like Ben's comments earlier. It doesn't, a lot of people I know, like myself, James, Chris, like some people, like I have friends who are like so hidden about it, don't want to tell anybody and whatever because of judgment, but it's like, it is what it is. And like, I'd rather, we're literally human beings.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I don't care what anybody says or thinks. That's what we are. If you get my pronoun wrong and I freak out, like, that's my own shit.
Yeah.
It's like, you knew me as 4 years as a female.
Yeah.
Sarah Louise Henson of Hampstead, North Carolina.
Boss
House. Yeah, it's like, you knew me for that long. I don't care if, a little kid whose name is one thing and they go by a nickname, and you start using the nickname, that's what you're going to know them by.
Right.
Like, we're not going to get offended. Now, if you purposefully do it, it's a little offensive.
Yeah.
If you're doing it on like my father, for example, he blames himself for it and thinks he raised me too much like a boy. And on my birthday last month, like I've been out, probably in December will be 2 years.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture of me and him, and I was in a pink onesie. He said, "Happy birthday, baby girl." Do you know when he talks to me as a female in public, people are like, what the fuck is that guy talking about? Because they don't know. And his thing is, he can't accept it, and it's shitty, but like, I'm the happiest I've ever been.
Yeah.
Now, when he does it, it's offensive. He's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
If you mess up a trans person, like whatever, there's all kinds of things out there. There's like, my girlfriend had never been with anyone like me. She's only ever been with men. And, she literally, there was a group of people interviewing us at Ibiza, which is like the gay club around here. And like, I can go there because no one gives a shit. It's fun. A lot of straight people go there. Yeah. Male, female. Because like no one cares. They're just like having fun. But like, they interviewed both of us about LGBT in the South because they did this thing at Cameron Art Museum. And like I said, I'm not like huge out about it, but I mean I am involved in like pride things in Wilmington and stuff like that because it's important that people know.
Right.
People don't know, they don't know, they're going to keep their brain the same.
Yeah, it's important for me for people to know, and I'm not even trans or gay or whatever.
Because it's like we're marginalized, we're put in separate groups when it's all stupid because we're really the same thing.
Yeah, we're all humans, like you said.
Literally, that's it. I don't care. Like,
that's the main thing we want to get across.
That's it. Like, I'm just another dude walking through the street, hanging out, living my life. But she is technically what they call pansexual. There's a fucking label for everything, and I don't even know all of them. But it's like pansexual. They date whoever they date and end up with whoever they end up with because they like them as a person, which is how everyone should be.
I was about to say that.
Like,
that's kind of how
everyone should, like, who do you look at Brokeback Mountain? Okay, look at Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, they stood out and played these two guys who grew up as these like country western cowboy guys, and they were like both gay but didn't want to tell anybody, and it finally just happened. And that's how she is. Like, they were interviewing us next to each other, and I heard her, but I was talking about being trans and whatever in the South, and she was like, they were like, "How are you part of the LGBT community?" And she said, the best answer, simple ever. She said, "I'm just here with my boyfriend." Because she doesn't think of it as, I'm just your boyfriend. I'm a dude. She's not
pansexual.
Yeah, that's like whoever dates people for people. There's bisexuals, which date, females and males. There's whatever, there's all kinds. There's demisexual, asexual, agender, which are
What's asexual?
So asexual people are very interesting. Like, I work with a girl who's asexual. I was actually talking to her about it earlier, and they really aren't sexually attracted. Like, sexually. If they like you for you. It's not sexually driven. It's not based on how hot, like, they could be with someone and not have sexual interaction with them and be okay. They could be like a partner. Yeah, they could be a partner and live life with someone and they're not worried about sex. And that's really the best kind of person. Because the society we live in is like,
we want sex. And
yeah, it's like sex. Yeah, it's like Tinder, swipe right, blowjob. You know, it's like that's like it's not even how it is, which we're animals, so we think like that. But I mean, and they all have their own flags and their own representation, which is fine because like you almost have to have that this day and time.
Yeah.
Because everyone else is worried about it.
Hmm.
It's like, I mean, I grew up around a family. It was a very Christian family, and they weren't actually like my blood family, but I hung out with them a lot. And I've seen the mother at work in the coffee shop, and they have like children, from like other countries, and they're very successful people. And she loves me for me. She doesn't understand it. She's cool with it. Her husband comes in Home Depot, and every time he sees me, he makes it a point to refer to me as Sarah, or say hey girl, or whatever. And when I have a ratchet beard and my voice is pretty deep, like he looks like an idiot.
Yeah, your voice is as deep as mine, pretty much.
It's crazy.
Pretty much. It's
and
way
it was
deeper
terrible
than
when it
the
was
last time.
changing because like
Was it squeaky?
Yeah.
Squeaky?
I'll be trying to help somebody and be like, yeah, this is the perfect and I'll be like, oh god, like shit. But it's just like unnecessary. It's completely unnecessary, and it's like I'm way more accepting of it. There's people I like go to this transgender group, and it's literally a group of people that live in Wilmington who are, and like I said earlier, it's so hard for men to transition into women. You still have big hands, you still have big feet. It's hard to drop that voice. Like it's just a lot harder. And like there's a girl in there who literally she didn't say anything for like a year. She just sat in there with us. One day she opened her mouth and she just started crying because she fights every day with not killing herself. Because her family doesn't accept her. She's like an overnight janitor, so she doesn't have to see people. And the group we come to, I get chills talking about this, but the group we come to is the only time she feels okay and safe. That's it.
Wow.
Because, like, and I did drugs for years over it, but like, just imagine. So like, you would get claustrophobic if you were in an elevator with a bunch of people and the elevator got stuck.
Yeah.
Imagine being stuck in the wrong body and you can't get out. That would make someone kill themselves.
I can't even imagine, dude.
Right,
like,
it's like
even grasp
there were years I looked in the mirror and years I didn't look in the mirror because it was so stressful. Because like you're stuck, and it's like America's shit. Like we're such a population based on gender that you're like stuck and you're like, fuck, this is not right. But there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And it's like Chaz Bono and Caitlyn Jenner, like I have my own opinion on them because I'm a human, and I think that they're like really crazy and out there, but they've kind of opened the door. But even like I watched the Caitlyn Jenner 2020 this morning, just like preparing and thinking about everything, and a lot of people aren't as open as I am. A lot of people get pissed quicker than I do, but it's like, I mean, I also was in recovery for so long, so I have like these ways of looking at myself, and that's like part of how I discovered it was like when you ask who you really are, like what's behind all of this, or what are these issues, because it's not accepted here. And it's like Caitlyn Jenner did a 2020 when she came out, and then she did 2020 2 years later, or 2020 2 years later.
Yeah.
And she said she didn't realize how privileged she was to have money and fame, because the homeless youth population is full of LGBT kids because their parents tell them to get the fuck out. Like,
wow.
The lack of being able to keep a job is crazy. Because, which I've always been a hard worker, I'm easy to get along with. I'm like, I'll straight up tell a boss, I don't give a fuck if you accept me or not. I have good work ethic, I'll work for you.
Yeah.
So I've been able to get jobs, keep jobs. But like, not a lot of people are like me. Not a lot of people are like, hey, this is me, I don't give a shit, blah, blah, blah. Which, I struggle with that sometimes too. Like, I literally, in relationships, after I came out, settled for these different girls because I didn't think I'd ever find anybody.
Yeah.
And like, the girl I'm with now, I met in one of the lowest parts of my life, and I met her in one of those places we go to like try to figure it out, and she literally sat down next to me and it was a Wednesday night, and it's one of those places we go. It's a dark room. You know what I'm talking about. And so she couldn't see me really. She couldn't, and she was just like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And then like I made this stupid pickup line about like it was like near Christmas, so I was like, "I'm a big dude," and I was like, "How about we be in a porn and I'll be Santa and you be an elf?" Because she's like 4'11". She was like, "Yeah, I'm down," and I was like, "What?" Like this girl's so cool with it, and like she's like fully supportive of it. She doesn't understand. She's never been in the LGBT community because, like I said, her answer was, "I'm just here with my boyfriend."
Yeah.
And I wish more people had that
Yeah.
ideal of like, this is just a person.
It's a really simple way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's like it's this big ordeal when in reality it's like it's just another person doing what they have to do to get through life. And like I said, media and radicalists ruin it because it's like this big ordeal and it's not. There's so many other things happening in the world that are so much more important and so much, not that this isn't important, but I mean like on a bigger scale, like detrimental to every human.
Right.
And this is just like one group that's being like put out. Like we're having September 1st, we're having a Pride block party. And we do all this stuff to get it together. And like,
where's it at?
it's like downtown.
Really?
And so there's a LGBTQ.
Pride. Explain that.
So pride, when you say pride, it's the rainbow. And the rainbow flag, it's like, you know, you see double rainbow in the sky. It's like everything, everyone, whatever you are, whatever gender, whatever sex, like because people that were regular old people felt left out and didn't know their part, like, you're sitting here talking to me and you're like getting more open-minded. If you support LGBT people, you're in it. They put an A that stands for ally.
Oh,
so if like
that's
you
why
support
I see
us,
a lot of straight people or heterosexual people going to support.
Because they want to make a category that doesn't disclose anyone.
Huh.
So if like you're a straight heterosexual man with a baby and like your pontoon boat, like all this shit, you can still be a part of.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
Rainbows are happy, rainbows are free, but in reality, there's like a dark cloud over that because of people's insecurities and ignorance and hate.
Yeah.
And it's like when the same-sex marriage came out, there were a lot of mixed couples or African American couples who were on it because this that's happening right now is the civil rights of 2018.
Yeah.
This is that same movement, just it's not looked at as crazy, unfortunately, because a lot of us are white.
Right, right.
And it's like, Wilmington also isn't a great, I mean, Wilmington has some bad roots. Like, I mean, it wasn't
slavery.
It wasn't until the 80s that an African American could be a member of the Cape Fear Country Club.
Wow.
It's not that old in Wilmington.
Did you listen to any of the last two podcasts that I did?
I listened to a little bit.
So they talked a lot about.
Yeah.
Those
I love when
things.
Tim's on here.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I love when Tim's on here.
Me and Tim are filming a video on Friday. We're gonna start doing political videos.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be devil's advocate. Like disagree with everything he thinks, basically. Which I don't agree with Tim on everything.
Yeah.
Which is good because it means we're both thinking for ourselves. You know what I mean?
I mean, people think I'm crazy because I'm a transgender man and I wear an NRA t-shirt.
Yeah.
But the thing is, when it comes to this is my thing is like a lot of these shootings and things that happen are put on media for the purpose. So the Second Amendment, you know, was put in for civilians to protect themselves against the government. So as a transgender man, why would I not want to protect myself against the government?
Against the government that is oppressing to what you're doing.
So it's like, why would I not support that? But people are so like conservative, liberal, Republican. When there's conservative liberals and liberal Republicans, it's all bullshit. It's all parties. It's all marginalization. It's all groups. Why the fuck can't we all just be humans and exist?
Yeah, yeah.
Why is there
we can
so
have
much
different beliefs without.
Right. It's all mental game. All of this is a mental game. They want to put gender or whatever in a mental category. Everything that happens in the world is a mental category.
Yeah.
It all is.
I kind of want to go down there for Pride.
Yes.
I kind of want to check it out.
Bring your camera.
It's
so freeing because it's a bunch of queer weirdos walking up and down the block, hanging out with each other. That's it.
That's pretty cool.
It's like when the Black Panthers did their thing. down at the courthouse. There were a couple LGBT people that showed up.
What did they do?
It was like, I don't know if it was last year. It's when all the shootings were happening, but a couple Black Panther members just showed up and like sat on the courthouse steps and I think had weapons or something.
Oh wow.
And some of the LGBT people showed up in support, but it's also like they have to have their own movement.
Yeah.
Like not everyone has to be involved. They showed up for their support because we're both like oppressed people, but it's like white people that came to America with the first Europeans, Chris Columbus, all that, he was Spanish, but like all that stuff, they oppressed the Native Americans.
Yeah.
So like when we're trying to kick out Hispanic people or people from other countries, none of us came from this place.
Yeah.
And it's turned into a melting pot of shit. It's like people spend so much time and energy. Like I've resented people, and it took and it did those people.
Oh yeah.
Like people who hate me for who I am, I'm like that sucks for you, and they're spending way more energy.
That's my favorite analogy about it is taking poison and expecting the other person to die.
It's like
yeah.
None of it makes sense. It's like, and like I said, there's like super radical people who ruin everything. I mean, like my dad taught me about like the Islamic culture, and like they're a really peaceful culture, but you have terrorists. You know, it's like you have radical, yeah, you have LGBT people who are radical and in your face, and like it annoys me too. You know, it's like,
well, it's trying to push your beliefs off onto somebody that may not necessarily have those beliefs, but it's like, why instigate an argument over something where we can just get along and have different beliefs?
It's like, but.
Let's see what Katie Hanna said. You know Katie Hanna?
Yes.
I think that's what the next
blonde hair, gauges, tattoos.
I see that alien life on the History magazine, though. You know what time it is,
it's because we're all aliens, dude. We're all aliens.
I see a tattoo of the space.
Oh, yeah. I got the UFO. I got all that. But it's like, I got the seeing eye. But it's like, this is my favorite. It's death is certain, life is not.
That's dope.
It's like humans shaking hands with a skeleton. Because at the end of the day, we're all skeletons.
Who did that?
We're all, my buddy Chad, Diligent Tattoos, he's the bomb. He does all my traditional stuff.
This is dope.
That's my lumberjack. This is a cover-up of a Forrest Gump quote.
Oh, why would you cover that?
Because it was like the worst quote ever.
What quote was it?
It was,
hold on, I can see it
You can see it a little bit. It was, shit. Yeah,
Life is like a box of chocolate?
No, it was like, I guess sometimes.
It was
Chris D'Alessio made fun of it. It was, I guess sometimes there just aren't enough rocks. And it's like that scene where Jenny's throwing all the rocks at her childhood home. And there's not enough rocks.
Yeah.
And she like falls and it's like, fuck, there's not enough rocks. But I was like, it was like this cursive and I got it after a breakup and I was
I kind of like that.
Honestly. Yeah, but it's like, I remember Chris walking up to me and being like, is that like crack rocks? And I was like, sometimes there's not enough of those either. That's not the type of rock. But it's still true, like there's not enough rocks. There's not enough crap we can throw at each other. There's not enough crap we can take, like, and it's going to continue to be an issue, unfortunately, but like, it's like a lot of people aren't exposed to people like me because they're so afraid of it, but it's like, I literally am just like a human. Yeah. That's it. Like, you knew me before. Anyone that's known me, I've always been more masculine. Like, I came out and was so afraid of people's reactions, and they were like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, whatever. But it's just like...
Doesn't it always seem like that when we're so scared of something, and then we do it, and it's not that bad? And it's like, oh, man. It's like, whatever. But it's like... We psych ourselves out, dude.
So bad. But it's like, we're bred to be like that.
Yeah.
We're bred, especially in this country, to think we have to be a certain way and act a certain way.
Yeah.
When in reality, you don't.
I can't stand the conforming to, like, socially what you think I should do. Like, as far as, like, even when it comes down to, like, when I'm at a wedding, you expecting me to toast champagne, which I don't drink. So I'm like, I'm not toasting champagne, and there ain't nothing you can say. If I want to drink the champagne, I'll drink it. You know what I mean? And it's just like conforming. But you know, we were talking about this on the podcast like last week, as far as people who drink, they want you to drink because they feel like sometimes they're being judged if you don't drink. So it's like, I'm gonna start when somebody asks me, do I want to drink or something, I'm gonna start being like, no, but I don't judge you for drinking. Just
Right.
get that out there. But it's like, but not even to do with drinking, just like what society expects you to do and the way they expect you to conform to everyone's beliefs. You know.
Well, I mean, it's like my girlfriend makes fun of me for it, but it's like, you know, growing up, being a dude, stuck in like, whatever. I grew up in Pender County, dude.
Yeah.
Like
in the cut.
A lot, dude, in the cut. like we lived in a double wide on a golf course. Like,
wow.
Yeah. And it's like, as a kid, I didn't know any different. You know, I was just hanging out with the dude next door, like, and it didn't start until we got older to be weird. And it's like so crazy because I'm still. People expect like rednecks to be like conservative Republican in your face, but it's like I still wear camouflage in the wintertime. I still love going hunting. I still chew tobacco. You know, like I still do all these things that like I grew up. Like I don't have to be transgender in the LGBT community and not kill animals, or be in the transgender community and not have guns. Or like all this, and it's like
you're
the whole
independent thinker.
Right.
I like that about
I'm registered as an independent, and like half the time I don't even vote because all the parties are fucking idiots. Because it's like they're all telling you shit you want to hear. It's like when Donald Trump went to Colorado when he was trying to get elected, he held up a rainbow flag and put like I will support all the LGBT people. And
I like that he did that, but not that he didn't fully mean it.
He didn't follow through with it.
I like that he did that. It made me like him more.
Yeah, and it's like Obama, Hillary Clinton, all these people have all this fucked up shit, and people are like, they did that, so they can't. And in reality, it's like, they're a poster child for America. They're not doing, they don't have as much power as we think they do. And it's like, just like voting. It's like, if you didn't take a, you know, economics class or some shit, you don't realize that we all vote. But the Electoral College decides who they want to vote for.
Right.
We convince them. So it's like, they're going to vote for whoever the fuck they want to. Doesn't matter. And then whoever's going to get elected is going to get elected. You know, and it's like, they're going to be around for 4 to 8 years, and there's like, laws for shit they can and can't do, and like, that's just how it is. You know, and it's like, I hate, like, Donald Trump, I'll say it right now, for the economy is really great.
Yeah.
Because he's a fucking businessman.
Yeah.
For humanity, he's terrible.
Yeah.
Like, he might be able to help us economically.
He's socially not progressive.
Right, but like, when you're putting Mexican kids in concentration camps and you're telling me I can't piss in the right bathroom, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I got a bonus because he gave a tax cut to Home Depot and I was happy about it.
I was happy about that too.
Right, but it still doesn't mean nobody is all good or all bad. I don't care what anyone says.
I told somebody online the other day, I was like, if Obama and Donald Trump had a baby together,
it'd be perfect.
That's what I said.
It would be fucking perfect. Because it's like, he doesn't like illegal immigrants, but look at what the fuck he's married to. Like, the man's like a walking contradiction.
Yeah.
But it's like, I can't expect someone like him who was born into money and born into power to understand what I'm going through.
Absolutely not.
Now, I also loathe the fact that he's like so against the type of person I am, but I can't do anything about it.
Right.
Like, and if he gets reelected, 6 years he'll be gone, and everyone will just remember him as a Cheeto.
Yeah.
And someone else fucked up will come in and screw something up, and that's all.
Maybe not. Maybe not. You never know. Let's try to be optimistic. It's hard to be optimistic.
And it's like the whole female-male thing. Maybe we need a fucking female president.
We need a badass female
president. Because I know my girlfriend corrects so many things in my life, and like a female president could probably correct so many things in life.
Well, you just said about taking testosterone, how you can't focus
Dude.
as good, you can't listen as well, and I think that as far as being a president, those are important.
Terrible thing.
Well, they're important to have. Yeah,
exactly. You need, like,